is exceptional.
I've had to train to get very, very proficient.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing New Zealand.
You're always adjusting and adapting to conditions, and that's the thing that young players perhaps don't quite realise these days.
You're listening to the Hyundai High Performance Hour.
Welcome into the show. Welcome in. It's the Hyundai High Performance Hour for the next hour. And if you've got any questions at any stage through this interview, then please text them through to 5009 or give Andrew a call next door on our 0800 number, and he can just have a chat with you, and we'll find the right time to get your question through. But if you've got something on text, you want to send it through 5009. Tonight is something a little different and yet hugely inspirational, because it's about, we talk a lot about comfort zones, don't we? We talk about, oh, gee, I don't know if I could do that. Don't know if I should push myself that far. And every now and then we do. We generally, the royal we get off the couch and we go and do things. And for every individual person, that's something that you do can be on any scale. It can be, some people go and climb Everest. Some people go and walk the Milford Track. Some people go and bike the bridge, which is coming up soon. Some people go and ride from Wellington to Auckland. And yes, I'm going to do it again next February. But we all do those challenges in life, and often they are as much about life as they are about sport. We're not elite athletes. We just do these for reasons of lifestyle, health and fitness, and perhaps our own well-being. Well, Archilles International is an organisation that is just inspirational for what they do to enable people with all types of disabilities to participate in mainstream athletics, to promote personal achievement, enhance self-esteem and lower barriers, but just basically to get out there into the wide world and take things on, to give it a go. We'll find out a little bit more about the history of Archilles and also what they're up to in the next couple of weeks as they head away with the team to the New York Marathon. But first, we're joined by Peter Loft, who is chairman of Archilles New Zealand, and also in studio we've got Mike Lloyd with us. Gentlemen, good evening. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Mike, how are you, mate? You good?
Awesome.
Yeah, you're gunning for what? Your 5th New York Marathon?
Yep, number 5.
Yeah, well, so you this must be just, a bit boring now for you. You need to go and run something else. I'm having you on, of course. I mean, what an amazing thing to take on. We'll talk more with you in a moment, Mike. And Peter Loft joins us, the chairman. G'day, Peter. How are you?
Good, thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having us in here.
Pleasure. When Neva Ritamanu, this is how the story came about. I'd heard, obviously, of the Archilles Club, but when Neva, our newsreader, and what a lovely lady she is, when she said, I'm going to New York. You can just picture Neva, can't you? I'm going to New York to do the marathon. I reckon I might take 8 hours. And I said, really, why are you going? And she told me the story that she's going as a part of your team and going to guide someone, I believe, around the New York Marathon. But before we get to that and talk about the New York Marathon, tell us about Archilles International and how it all began, Peter, and then we'll talk about your involvement, because, in fact, this is an international organisation and its origins are indeed at the New York Marathon. Is that
Correct.
right?
Archilles Archilles New Zealand started in 1993, so this is our 20th trip to the New York City Marathon. Archilles started at 30 years. That's 30 years old, Archilles in New York. And the reason they do the New York City Marathon is Dick Traum, the guy who founded Archilles, is above-knee amputee. He was friends with Fred Lebow, and Fred Lebow was the race director and the founder of the New York City Marathon in its current format. And Fred Lebow was had a big input into the starting of Archilles. In our first trip there in 1993, it took Riley and myself just close to 8 hours to finish. 7.5 hours, I think, from memory. It was a long time ago.
So you were the guide?
Yeah, I coached John and got him through. I walked with him, was his support crew, carried his bag. When you've got someone who's taken 8 hours, you've got to cater 50 grams of carbohydrates now. So I had bananas, energy bars, extra water because it was 104% humidity, so the water stops being a mile apart were too far apart. We had to have extra water. So we had to cater for all those things. And back in those days, I was a professional coach in athletics. That's how I made a living. And John was the first person I coached who only had one leg, which brought in a whole new education for me. When we got through, and we'll give a brief overview of John's first event run at New York. When he got to the 30-kilometre mark, John had blisters on his hands so big he couldn't hold his crutches anymore. And prior to us doing the marathon, we'd run into and met Rod Dixon, who's become a good friend. And Rod said to us, guys, the marathon doesn't start until you get to Central Park. So everything you do before Central Park is critical to what happens in that last 10 Ks. You don't go as far in Central Park now, they've changed the course. So at 30 Ks, he had blisters on his hands too big to hold his crutches. At that stage, he was the 5th amputee, and he was 15 minutes behind the guys who were in front of him, and he wanted to win. At the 30K mark, I hadn't prepared myself. I hadn't fed myself. I hadn't looked the old air hostess syndrome. I'd done everything there for John, and when John got these blisters on his hands so big, I said, damn, we're going home. Yay, I'm out of here, because I'd had enough. But he went and bit them off and spat them out on the side of the street, put new rubber bungs on his crutches, which got me motivated when he bit his blisters off, and he went on and won by 10 minutes. And he won by 10 minutes because we were the best prepared team there. We did the work, we did everything right, except looking after me, and we learnt from that the years that followed. You've got to look after, the guide's got to take care of themselves first.
So, I mean, that in itself, what you've just described is really interesting, because immediately you told a story about someone wanting to win.
Yeah, he wanted to win.
You didn't tell a story about someone just wanting to get over the line.
He wanted to win. He wanted to be the first amputee. There's a photo that's on our Facebook page, Archilles New Zealand Facebook page, which has got John finishing the 1993 and the 1994 New York City marathons. And there's a Texan guy that he raced. And in 1994, they raced for 42 kilometres. John got in front. Whenever he got to a water stop, he would slip on his crutches, fall over, the Texan would pass him. The Texan was on the old wooden crutches, John was on the arm grip ones with a little hand grip. And we learnt in 93 to put a bubble wrap packaging around the hand grips, don't get blisters.
Wow.
And they did that for 42 Ks. John would fall over the water stop, the Texan would pass him, then John would pass him again. 800 metres to go, which is into Central Park up to the finish line, they sprinted. In the photo of John finishing that year and winning the amputee section, he's airborne, both crutches and his foot's off the ground, and you can see in the finishing photo the crutch of the American Texan guy just behind him. And he collapsed when he finished that. Wow. And that was phenomenal. You know, that guy's a champion athlete. And
So Archilles then, is it about the sharp end of the race in that sense, or is it also about, you know, those that are less concerned about being competitive and just wanting to achieve something really amazing?
All of our athletes do the marathon for the same reason that you or I would do the marathon. That's to finish, get the medal, get the T-shirt that says you're a marathon runner. And that's what their goal, no matter what it is before they start, that's what it eventually comes out as. They want to finish and get the medal. Some just want to finish. Others, like John, have got a competitive streak, and if he had no legs, he'd be looking for guys to beat with no legs also. But he wanted to be the first above-knee amputee to finish New York City Marathon, and he achieved that goal. Others just want to finish. We've got guys like Craig Jessup. Craig, who's a co-founder of Archilles with myself and John and Miles Flynn. Craig's kidney failure, diabetic and blind. His doctor said, Craig, don't be stupid, you're going to run a marathon, it'll kill you. And Craig said, well, at least I'll die doing something. And, you know, that's the attitude of our athletes. He went on to New York in 94, 95. No one knew what to expect because no one with his disabilities had ever done a marathon before. And we took a kidney nurse with us just to cater, because he was on a the bag system where to do his own dialysis. And Craig got through, finished a marathon. He got his red blood cell up high enough that after 2 marathons he could have a kidney pancreas transplant. And he went back and did New York a 3rd time as a double transplant blind athlete, and then cycled the length of New Zealand. If it wasn't for Achilles, he would never have done that.
Yeah, and these are amazing stories. These and this is the very reason for this show, the High Performance Hour. It's not about winning the Olympic gold medal. It's about understanding these moments and these achievements.
Yeah. And whether they want to win, as John did, or finish as Craig did, that's high performance. Those guys are pushing themselves to the limit. We don't accept disability as an excuse for failure. We pride ourselves on being politically correct and culturally insensitive, and that we treat everybody the same. And I have a team talk I give every year, and I can share that with you now if you like a little bit. And basically it is, failure is not an option. We have body bags. We will take you home. If you don't finish this marathon, be dead or in an ambulance. Anything less is not acceptable. Because we haven't travelled all this way for you to get halfway through the marathon and decide I want to go shopping or I'm here on holiday. You think of the people that have sponsored you, and we tell them John's story, Craig's stories, Todd Philpott, who was an above-knee amputee, got a brand new prosthetic the week before we went to New York. And we said, Todd, whatever you do, don't wear that new prosthetic. You don't. He insisted. Within a mile of starting, his stump was bleeding. At the halfway mark, it was hurting so much, they got him a set of crutches so he could take off the weight off his prosthetic. He slipped over, dislocated his shoulder. Ex-rugby league player as well, and he was Mr. Australasia bodybuilding champ before he lost his leg, so he's a physical specimen. He relocated his shoulder, didn't tell the people he was with he dislocated it, carried on walking. He was meant to finish in 6 hours. 13 hours later, he hasn't finished. And they were filming our team that year. He crossed the finish line as they were filming, and as they were filming, the battery went flat, and he missed Todd finishing. And we all gave Todd a hug, righty, and I said to Todd, "You stupid idiot. You had earned the right to get the ambulance home. You didn't need to finish with what damage he'd done." And he said to me, "Lofty, discipline is less painful than regret. That discipline of pushing on and getting the medal was a far sight less painful than not having done it." And that little short statement stuck with me forever, and I live by that. That discipline is less painful than regret.
That is fantastic, and something for everyone to learn a little from. Well, Mike Lloyd is with us as well, 43 years of age, and the bio starts by saying, "I'm a blind guy from Auckland, New Zealand, who enjoys running, cycling, and generally keeping fit and active." Mate, you're much more than that. You've done 4 New York marathons already. Where's your psyche? Are you out there to win, like the stories we've just heard, or for you is it about the running? Is it about the freedom? Is it about the fitness and what it does for you in your life? What's the priority for you?
All of that put together, really. I find myself running as a great exercise. It's a good thing for your whole mindset. Not being able to see enough to run independently, I do have to depend on the use of a guide. For New York, obviously, it's going to be pretty noisy. There's roughly 2 million spectators making as much noise as you can make. And, what the US people are like, they're pretty good at making noise.
Yeah, well, yeah. Usually it's USA. But,
Exactly.
do you find the support is good for you as well?
The support is awesome. Like Pete said, Achilles in New York is very well known, and it's been there for a while. So we all run with Achilles on our T-shirts. We run with our name on our T-shirt. And the local support is just amazing. It's just amazing. It's like running through a rock concert for 42 k's.
I'm emboldened by Peter's comments. I'm going to be fairly brazen here and ask a few questions and be politically incorrect. Are you blind from birth?
I had more sight as a child. Never enough to read a blackboard at school and whatnot, but I could run around fairly freely. Obviously, with a few knocks and grazes and whatnot. But over time, that got less and less to the point now that I've just got a bit of light perception, and that's about it.
Yeah. So for you, that running in an environment, how completely foreign is it to you? I guess what I'm asking, do you have a vision? Do you have a picture in your head of where you're running? Obviously, it's not literally New York. You don't know that particular landscape. But do you have those memories? Do you have that vision that you're able to take with you when you go out running?
Most definitely. And I think for me, the good thing for now is, because this is my 5th New York, it almost feels like my home marathon.
Yeah.
Because the streets are getting more and more familiar. The different areas and boroughs that you run through change dramatically as you go through. Queens is a lot different to Brooklyn than it is to Manhattan. And the different communities and the feel and the atmosphere changes with that.
So you feel that? You can feel that when you go into those different communities?
Most definitely. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
And what? So is that what keeps you going back? Is it the race, or is it also Archilles? Is it because you must be inspirational to others in Archilles and other people who are thinking, maybe shall I give this a go?
What I learned from Pete here and Archilles is that anything is achievable if you want to make it achievable.
Absolutely, and I'm still, my ears are still ringing with the comments that you've just made, Peter, and we don't want to get too soporific with this, but it is sometimes from people like Mike, from people that you've mentioned, Riley and what have you, that it's their stories sometimes that do give us a kick up the arse and just remind us that, hey, getting out of bed and feeling a bit tired this morning, really that wasn't an excuse for not going for a run, because there's other people that are overcoming bigger challenges than that.
What I've got out of Archilles over 20 years, and it's been 20 years, so it's been I imagine every single day of my life, and we just want to reinforce Archilles is voluntary. We all do jobs for a living. Everyone involved in Archilles is voluntary, because if you pay anyone, their reasons for being there are different. But when I get out of Archilles is when I first started. The first wheelchair guy we took away was a guy called Dave McCalman. You might have interviewed him.
Yes.
He's an international Paralympic athlete and a bloody good bloke. And he's my first wheelchair person I've tipped out of a wheelchair in New York, 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the start line of the marathon. And Dave frequently reminds me of him tipping him out of a wheelchair. But what Archilles has given me more than anything else is that nowadays I don't see the wheelchair. I don't see the white stick. I don't see the leg. I see the person. And once you're involved with Archilles and our athlete, you get beyond the disability. You see the person, and surely that's a good thing.
Well, and is that not at the heart of what Archilles is all about?
Damn right. And shouldn't we all do that? Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we all at some stage in our life? Because it's people avoid people with disabilities because they're scared of the unknown. They don't know how to talk to someone who's blind like Mike and say, hey, Mike, did you see that? And what do you think of, we had a good look out there the other day. And Mike's, he's a perfect guy for us to train people on how to run or how to guide someone running, because he's the worst politically incorrect person you'll come across.
It'd be nice.
And he'll tell it like it is. But whatever you do, don't ask him how he lost his eyesight. I promise it's not pretty.
It's good radio viewing.
But it's been such a good thing, and it's made me evaluate how I look at people, not just with disabilities, but people from other races as well and other ethnic backgrounds, and there's a creed for marathon runners, and I was once asked what my view or Archilles' view on the Treaty of Waitangi was by someone, and I said it's very simple. It's a marathon is a race, without colour, without religion, without sex. A marathon is a race where everyone starts as an equal and everyone finishes as a winner. And if that's not good enough for you, I don't know what is, and that's what I live by.
Fantastic stuff. More on the Archilles venture to New York. We're going to catch up with another guest on the show. Andrew Morton is a guide. He'll be guiding blind athlete Hannah Pascoe. In studio, we have Mike Lloyd, who is blind and who is taking part in his 5th New York Marathon. He'll be there running with the Archilles name on the singlet, and also chairman of Archilles New Zealand, Pete Loftus, here with us as well. This is the Hyundai High Performance Hour. More in a moment.
Hi, Paul from Shawmount. Shawmount still have the best range of brackets and prices available in New Zealand. We simply cannot be beaten on the range and the pricing of LED, projector, plasma or LCD mounts. We've got brackets from 19-inch TVs through to 75-inch TVs in stock. Shawmount is a locally owned company. All advice on mounting your LED, plasma and projector is simply a phone call away. Shawmount.co.nz. Shawmount.co.nz. You can be sure if it's Shawmount.
Aeropark's special deal this month, just $5 a day for 6 days or more. Aeroparks gives you personalised service with secure allocated parking on Tarsiel, minutes from the airport, and a luxury shuttle delivers you direct to the terminal free. $5 a day for 6 days or more all this month. Drive in, take off. aeroparks.co.nz. That's aeroparks.co.nz.
Auckland Fork Truck Hire. The hint is in the name. They hire out fork trucks, big ones, small ones, electric and gas, fork trucks for small jobs and the mother of all jobs. They sell, repair and service all fork trucks. So if you need something lifted for hours or for years, Auckland Fork Truck Hire are the best place to see. They even have a 24-hour breakdown service. Auckland Fork Truck Hire, lifting your business to a greater height. 387 Nielsen Street, Penrose, phone 09 636 7811.
Radio Sport and Bionic proudly present the 2013 Bledisloe Cup with Steve Hansen.
What's this guy on about? We've already won it this year.
There's one more game to play, Shag.
Well, that's dumb. What's the point in that?
Well, it's another chance to show your superiority over the Aussies.
Oh, yeah, all right. Let's pull their pants down and give them another hiding, eh?
Saturday night, 7:35. All Blacks, Wallabies, live from Dunedin.
Join us, because it'll be really, really good.
Radio Sport, the Hyundai High Performance Hour with Andrew Dewhurst. Proudly brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
We're talking Archilles. We're talking the New York Marathon. Archilles International, an organisation that's set up again, if you've just joined us, set up some years ago now. What are we talking? Are we talking, was it 76? Peter, when it very first started?
In New York, yeah.
In New York, and has been in New Zealand for the last 20-odd years. And it's about enabling people with all types of disabilities to participate in mainstream sport. And it's a difficult one, isn't it, Peter? Because there is no... we try and be politically correct, and there are right and wrong ways of saying it, but you almost don't want to have to refer to it. What you just said before the break is that you don't want to see the disability. You want to see the athlete. You want to see the person, and you do. But by the very nature of this conversation, we've got to talk about the fact that Mike's blind.
We do, and the problem that we've had, and I found... Year one was good. Just taking Riley, had an amputee. That was it. It was pretty simple. Year two, we had Dave McCalman... Craig Jessup, another guy who's blind, whose name escapes me, and John. And what gave me the biggest fright of all was not my understanding of disabilities, but it was a lack of appreciation for someone who was, say, blind for a person who was an amputee, or a wheelchair guy for a person who couldn't hear.
Okay.
And their shortness of temper with each other. When things were bloody blind, I'm always tripping over crutches, or the wheelchair's always in the road, and then we learnt from that we had to treat everybody the same.
Yeah,
we couldn't take people out and treat them differently. But what we also learnt that we can't. Mike is an example of someone. Not everybody we could treat the same as Mike, because they would, they just couldn't handle it.
You'd offend someone.
Some people with wheelchairs want you to help, and others want to wait. When do you step in, and when do you say, "Hey, do you need a hand?" And it gets. So we just bluster through.
But again, that's no different to everyone.
No,
because some, you'll stop at a busy restaurant door and you'll see a young lady approaching. You'll open the door for her. One walks through and says, "Thank you very much." The next one wants to give you a slap across the face for being condescending. So that's no different to everyone, is it? In terms of the way that we react.
What we find now with the team going this year, because all the people that went last year with a storm that was cancelled are coming back again, plus some new ones. And the likes of Mike tend to educate other athletes pretty well, and that we're a team. What goes on tour stays on tour.
That's the end of the interview then.
It's interesting though, because I've been there a few years now. I'm the blind guy, but I'm the team navigator in New York.
Yeah, he is. He shows us where to go.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm great at that.
He's a tour guide. He's actually going to pimp himself out to get to the front of queues at Statue of Liberty and Empire State Building with
no secrets.
Well, you've always got an excuse, Mike. Anyway, if you end up in the wrong side of town, you know what I mean. Well, I don't know. I'm blind. What are you following me for?
Exactly.
I want to try and understand what it is like. I want to try and have our listeners understand what it is like to run 26.2 miles and you can't see. What are you concentrating on? Because we're not talking about running in a clear space of 50 square metres with no one anywhere near you. I can imagine for most of the run, you are surrounded by people. So what are the priorities for you, Mike? What do you have to concentrate on for you to have a good race?
I guess the normal stuff applies where when you lose one sense, you have to use your others more. From the beginning of that race, it's literally just a battlefield. Everyone's been standing around for 2, 3, 4 hours in the cold. They'll check off all their extra clothing. So the first sort of half a K up the first hill it's like running knee high through clothing that people have discarded. So, you get through the first half a K and you're sort of, I'm buggered now. I've got 40 Ks to go, 42 Ks to go. And then it's the noise. It's not a quiet race. You've got 50,000 people with one key objective, which is to get to the finish line. They don't see that you're running using a rope between you and your guide runner. They want to run between you. The noise is just phenomenal. I usually run with one primary guide and at least a couple of others. So I have one in front basically telling people get out of the way, and one running behind sort of saying to people don't get in the way.
But that's not going to be the case here, is that right? Have you just got Mike McRoberts with you?
I've got Mike as my primary guide.
Okay.
And obviously his job is to get me from start to finish. But then I've got a couple of others as well, a couple of good mates that I've run with before.
Fantastic. So they will do that job for you in
Hopefully.
New York. You don't think they just sneak off quietly and have a coffee for a couple of Ks?
It was bizarre. The first year I did it, we did get a US volunteer, and she was great. The first year I ran with my brother Gavin, and we ran along, and we were about 6 miles into it, and we sort of saw a gap to the left and shot through that, and our guide runner didn't. So she's probably still running.
Is that the last you saw?
We lost her 6 miles.
I'm just briefly a problem we do get with some guides who can't get entry into the New York City Marathon and say, well, I'll be a guide. So they front up for Achilles, get allocated an athlete, get to the start line.
And then seriously?
It happens.
Oh, goodness sakes.
So generally with someone who's blind like Mike, we'll have 4 people with them.
Okay.
And that takes a bit of managing. But 3 of them US-based, one primary one, as he said.
Okay. And, I mean, for you, it's not just about marathons, though, is it? What other stuff have you done? What have you taken on? I've got the list here in front of me, but you tell us, what have you been involved with?
Obviously, we all do our local events, sort of smaller runs, smaller cycles and whatnot. Achilles, last year we put together a corporate blind team to run the Sky Tower. So there was 5 of us who ran up the Sky Tower last May, and that was awesome.
Okay.
Basically, the key to it was 51 stories of stairs. So for us, in that sense, once we're on the staircase, we're away. It's 9 stairs each flight and a turn.
So you just got that repetition going.
Pretty much. So we had a guide to get us to the steps and a few changes at different floors, but primarily, it was you and a heap of concrete steps. So in that sense, it was a level playing field for us. And a lot of that, it was great. It was an awesome event.
So we're going to talk in a moment or two. In fact, very soon we're going to catch up with Andrew Morton, who I understand is fairly new to the idea of guiding. He's going to guide another blind athlete, Hannah Pascoe. Before we talk to Andrew, though, what do you need from your guide? What are the qualities you're looking for with Mike McRoberts? And have you run with Mike before?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Okay, so what do you need from Mike at the start of the race? What's the checklist?
Well, the key thing is obviously we both need to be marathon ready. Just so the normal level of marathon ready, we have to be physically ready, we have to be mentally ready. But the key thing, especially for Mike, is the mental toughness. He's going to be out there for a long time. When you're running your own race, you can tend to sort of go into that zone and sort of just block out the pain or block out whatever you're thinking. I really can't afford him to do that. So... And that's where sometimes these other guide runners can come in. If someone's having a bit of a downtime at the 30k mark or 35, it's just nice to know you've got a bit of a backup.
So they can switch roles if required.
But the positive is that, to be honest, it's a team thing. He gets me through and I get him through. Like any team event, when I'm up, he might be down. When I'm down, he might be up. So
are you chatting?
Most definitely.
You're talking quite a lot.
Yeah. More at the beginning than at the end. The last 10 Ks probably get a bit serious and quiet.
I was going to say at the end it's turned into a different language. You don't quite understand what each other's saying.
Yeah,
but
the please turn left might just turn into a grunt and a push.
Oh, fantastic. We're going to catch up with Andrew Morton next, who, as I say, is guiding. So, Peter, is Andrew new to this in terms
Andrew's
of guiding?
New to guiding. He's new to Achilles, but he's what Achilles is all about, and we can't do it without guides, and we thank him for putting his hand up. And
okay, your website, let's get that out there now for people as well, if people want to find out some more about this organisation.
www.achillesnewzealand.org. Is that right, Mike?
The .org.nz, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the .org.nzs, but so I'll find it now. And we'll
and then they can get into our Facebook page, which is Archilles International New Zealand. There's a Facebook page as well.
Fantastic. We're talking Archilles. They're headed off to the New York Marathon with a collection of athletes, guides, and just going to be a wonderful team. I can imagine over there, and our very own from the radio network, Neva Ritamanu, will be a part of that team as well. Back in a moment with more.
You can depend on Davy Water Products.
Right now, you could have unwanted visitors in your building. Billions of them setting up home in your old water coolers. Bacteria, viruses, mould, eek! Time to call Davy Microline to check your water cooler. Davy Microline will give your business a free water health audit and make sure you always have safe, healthy drinking water for your staff. Arrange a welcome visitor now by calling 0800 654 333.
Counties Toyota for the drive of your life.
Hi, Mark Russell, CEO Counties Toyota. Have you considered Toyota Service Lite? Inquire now for details. Fixed price, only $195 for a petrol vehicle service and $245 for diesel. T's and C's apply. Counties Toyota. We do things different down here.
Counties Toyota for the drive of your life.
Take an Indian, Pukekohe.
They're Kingsford Motor Bodies, there's nothing they can't do. They'll fix your truck or soup it up, it'll come out just like new.
Need a great-looking truck at the right price? Hey, no worries. Kingsford Bodies are built tough to last the distance. They only use quality materials, which ensures a quality job. For curtain siders, lutens, box bodies, flat-top drop sides and much, much more, check out Kingsford Motor Bodies.
Kingsford Motor Bodies, there's nothing they can't do. Take in your truck, they'll do it up, there's nothing they can't do.
The Hyundai High Performance Hour, proudly brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
Just busy trying to find the website, but I found the international one, and we'll sort that out, and we'll make sure we've got the right address for you. So there we go. I'll read that off there. Thanks, Peter. There we go. Got that there. ArchillesNewZealand.org. There we go. ArchillesNewZealand.org. Well, joining us now on the phone, we've got Mike Lloyd in studio, who's a blind athlete taking part in his 5th New York City Marathon. And we've got the chairman of Archilles New Zealand, Peter Loft. Joining us on the phone now is Andrew Morton, he's the newbie. And is he feeling a bit nervous? You're going to guide in New York for the first time. Andrew, thanks for your time. How are you?
I was feeling okay till I heard the word body bag before.
Oh, you've got some listening to do when you get over there. So have you not heard the big speech yet from Peter?
I'm looking forward to it.
Why, Andrew, is my first question for you. Why? What's the reason for you to get involved and become a guide with Archilles?
I was asked by Hannah Pascoe, and Hannah's a 29-year-old Invercargill girl who's fully blind, and we did a Surf the City event in Invercargill in February 2011. She rode the back of a tandem bike and got off and pretty much said that was a bit boring. Who wants to run with me next year? So I said, I'll run with you.
Fantastic, just like that. And so how much running have you done? How much guiding experience have you got before you head away to New York?
We've ran in a couple of Surf the Cities and 2 half marathons, and we've been training since May, but we only run once a week on a Saturday morning.
And the challenges, what have you found? What's been the toughest adjustment that you've had to make?
The challenges have been basically keeping our bodies together. We've both gone through injuries. I had 3 weeks off about a month ago, and Hannah's a wee bit injured at the moment, but we're pretty mentally and physically strong, a lot of stamina, so we'll be right on the day.
Now, I mean, Mike's just talking to us earlier, and you might have just heard Mike Lloyd talking about his guide, Mike McRobertson, that they essentially get each other through and that it's very much a team effort. Are you finding that as well with Hannah?
Yeah, we do a lot of talking. I'm a wee bit like a commentator, as you can tell, and so I tell a few stories and everything, and then she talks. But we know when we're going through a bit of pain because we sort of stop talking to each other.
Gets a bit quiet, eh?
It's a wee bit quiet, but nervous, but that's right. But then we get through that phase and we're back on again.
And you're looking for... Have you been to New York ever in any capacity?
No, I've been to LA and San Francisco years ago, but not to New York.
All right, well, I'm told Mike here is going to show you around the place. So
that as well. That'd be great.
Have you got any questions, Mike? For Andrew, any comments you want to make? Any warnings you want to give him about what he should expect in New York?
Warnings. Too many.
Too many.
Most of them start with the word Peter.
Yeah. So between now and the big day, what's left? Are you you're just ticking off a few more training runs and getting yourself ready and organised?
Yeah, we've got a wee 5K run tomorrow. Sports Southland down here in the ACC have got a series. They've invited us to run along with that, and we've got a bit of a long run this weekend, and then we'll take it a wee bit easy going forward. Yeah, bit of aqua jog. I've made my debut at aqua jogging since I've had an injury.
Oh, okay. You really are nursing a bit of an injury. So
now it's a good pick-up joint for 60-year-olds, though.
You're going to fit right in, Andrew.
Oh dear, this is so politically incorrect. It's fantastic. So how long are you over there for, Andrew? I mean, aside from the actual marathon, how long are you in New York for?
We fly over. I get over we leave in Chicago on the Wednesday, so we've got about 30 hours of travelling by the time we get to Auckland and fly over. So New York on Wednesday night, about 11 o'clock, then we go to the Halloween parade, and then we fly back to New Zealand, get back on the following Friday, so about 7 or 8 days.
Okay, well, that does give you a chance to enjoy the city, beyond just the marathon. And Peter was just saying during the break that this year, with all the restrictions, they're stopping all the bum bags, the backpacks, and what have you. So, have you and Hannah worked out a program in terms of nutrition and making sure that you've got everything you need to get around the course?
Yeah, we've been talking about that, and even for our runs, we're making sure we're having energy gels and water. It's really important. I think it's really the mental side of it, to make sure we are eating. We don't want to sort of fall apart. And we've had so much great support down here that our plan is to run the whole event other than the water stations. We just don't want to go over and walk it and let people down.
Oh, well, you've got no chance of that happening with Coach Peter in your corner here.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you're looking forward to it. I can hear it in your voice, yeah?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I just want to mention, last time we did a half marathon together, or a year ago it was, not the last one, I actually had to bike it the next day because as a guide, you spend the whole time pretty much looking at the road and not actually seeing the course. I actually had to bike out there next weekend and bike the course to remember what it was like. There's so much concentration, yeah. So as Mike says, you can't sort of switch off into the zone, otherwise you have a few crashes, and we've had a couple of crashes so far. That's a bit of a learning.
So let's just talk about that briefly, and Mike, I'll bring you into this as well, because trust must be intrinsic. It must be so important. And Mike, I'll ask you first, that trust that you have to build with your guide. I mean,
trust is massive.
Yep.
Obviously, they're going to get you through the major stuff, but even the other unsaid part, and Peter's obviously witness to this, is when I'm unsure, I run differently. I run with my butt in a bucket. You run tentatively.
As though you're going to run into something.
Yeah. You can't do that for 42 Ks. It'll kill you.
So trust between you and Hannah, Andrew? I mean, how have you worked on that? Not just in your running, but have you sat down and talked? I mean, how have you built that trust?
When we go running, there's a lot of obstacles to avoid with curbs, etc. And she just says to me, I just trust you, just go with the flow. So it's just because I wouldn't have the same confidence. I'd struggle to run blindfolded 50 metres, for example. So she has amazing trust. I'm not sure where she gets it from because I'm bordering on ADHD probably.
Oh, dear. Well, listen, I've been to a lot of international triathlons, and of course, paratriathlon is very much a growing part of that sport. And these athletes are a hardy bunch, aren't they, Andrew? I mean, they put that trust in the guides, but they seem to accept. And Mike, is that fair, that you accept that there will be moments, that there will be an obstacle or two that might not go as smoothly as you would hope?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, you learn to recover, you learn to fall over, you learn to get up again. That's just part of the deal.
Yeah. Andrew, good luck, mate, and it's wonderful what you're doing. And I say that, and yet equally I want to say to you, I'm envious. Do you know where I'm coming from? Because I know that you are probably getting as much out of this, maybe more than the likes of Hannah and Mike. Is that a fair call?
Well, I've never run a marathon. The furthest I've ever run was last Saturday, which was 27 kilometres, but I've got lots of stamina. So it's a big challenge for me personally as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Good stuff, mate. Good luck, enjoy it, and we'll certainly we'll be getting some reports. Neva will be phoning back in, I'm sure.
Neva's going to be Hannah's roommate over there, so Hannah's in for a shock.
Neva's a born and bred Chicago girl, that's why she's the roommate.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, mate. Appreciate your time. There's Andrew Morton.
See you soon, Andrew.
Guide Hannah Pascoe down at up at the New York Marathon, and Hannah is a blind athlete, as is Mike Lloyd, who's with us here in studio. We'll be back in a moment or two to wrap things up on the Hyundai High Performance Hour.
Counties Toyota for the drive of your life.
Hi, Mark Russell, CEO Counties Toyota. Have you considered Toyota Service Lite? Inquire now for details. Fixed price, only $195 for a petrol vehicle service and $245 for diesel. T's and C's apply. Counties Toyota. We do things different down here.
Counties Toyota for the drive of your life.
Takanini and Pukekohe.
Labour weekend. A time to relax, to spend time with the family. To watch New Zealand's fastest off-road racers going flat out surfing the dirt near Raglan. This Labour weekend, don't miss the final round of the New Zealand Off-Road National Champs. 2 days of the best off-road racing you'll find anywhere. Big air, massive crashes and crazy speeds. Get amongst the New Zealand Off-Road Nationals this Labour weekend at Tamata Road, Raglan.
Hi there, John here from Mr. Scaffold. That's right, Mr. Scaffold. We hire lightweight mobile scaffolding for do-it-yourselfers or those in the trade. You haven't heard of us because we're new, and so is our gear. Got low platforms for inside work and up to 2 stories on the outside. Higher than that, you should be getting the heavies in anyway. We bring it out for free, put it up, show you how to use it and move it easy. Don't hang off a ladder. Firstly, it's real slow, and firstly again, it's real dangerous. Tip off and you'll spoil everyone's fun. Hope you call us 0508 Mr. Scaffold.
The Hyundai High Performance Hour with Andrew Dewhurst. Proudly brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
We're talking Archilles, Archilles International here in New Zealand. The website is archillesnewzealand.org if you want to find out some more. On your homepage there, I recognise the young fella. What's his name? He's always at the breakers. He's in the wheelchair. What's his...
Jaden.
Yes, that sounds right. But yeah, he's a lovely kid. He's always at the breakers.
He's always got a big future.
Always at the breakers. So that's the website if you want to find out some more about Archilles and what they do. Essentially taking a team over to the New York Marathon. How many in your team this year? All up?
17 in the team officially, plus there's some people that are travelling with us but paying their own way, so 22 travelling.
Fantastic. And you wear a New Zealand uniform?
We will have Kathmandu's our clothing sponsor, so the teams will be in puffer jackets, a couple of polos, some t-shirts, and we need that warm gear over there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we've had good support from Get Running, who some of your people here run with, I believe. They've helped Mike and Mike, let them join in, so we've been very lucky there.
Fantastic.
We have some good Frank Bunce and Tararau Nikau. Tararau's done New York twice.
Yeah, well, he's Rugby League World Cup's probably keeping him away this year.
Here, and T and Frank and myself did the Oxfam 100k as well. And T, the Walker 100k's on one leg was just...
Yeah,
that was.
He's an amazing man. He's an incredible fellow. We had him on the show just 2 or 3 weeks back.
Yeah, the respect I've got for that man is huge. Yeah, he's one tough cookie.
What's the target, Mike, for you? What's the goal? Have you got a time in mind?
I'd like to crack 4.5. I'm not sort of Ethiopian or Kenyan, so I'm not going to go sub 3.
Just quite I can see that. Yeah,
I'll get my pasty white legs over the line and 4.5. I'll be happy.
You've tucked into your dinner a bit more than some of those Ethiopians. Just quietly.
We start opening beers about 4:31, so if he's a bit slow, he'll.
Well, there's the incentive. There's the incentive. The beer, and I love this that you party as well.
Well, we have to. The year that. We've had some big nights, and Gary Endicott was a good example of leading people astray, and he would drink 3 nights in a row before the marathon out till 4 a.m, but still front up on the day and do it.
Yeah.
Whereas most people can't do that, so we had to have words and pull them back a little bit. But Gary would front up and do it. And we had some good nights. We have a lot of fun. After the event, we'll have a few drinks and a meal out or do something with the team.
Now, you mentioned that at one stage you mentioned it was filmed. Did you have a film crew there?
There was a film crew in 1999, I think. They went on a program called Inside Out that's now called Attitude, and they filmed for that.
See, I'm amazed that this should be documented again.
It would be great if it was, but there's issues. We've tried to get film crews out. And to get a journalist onto the course is damn near impossible nowadays. A rigmarole you've got to go through with New York Roadrunners and their rights and security, and it's just, and this year is going to be a nightmare for security. But hey, at the end of the day, we're in New York City doing the marathon, so we'll just go with the flow.
We're just about out of time, but we'll be back to say our goodbyes in a moment or two.
Man needs meat. Even little men need meat. to give them protein to grow and energy to run around like little men. They don't need fat to make them fat, so leave that packet of chips out of the lunchbox and give them something healthy. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. We suggest you leave the spicy pepper and sweet and hot to the big man of the house. Unless you want tears. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side.
PGG Rights and Real Estate brings you New Zealand's most comprehensive rural and lifestyle magazine. Out now, Spring 2013, Property Express, featuring over 170 quality properties that are currently on the market today. Pick up a copy from your local PGG Rights and Real Estate office or view online at pggwre.co.nz. Property Express. Out now, get yours today. PGG Rights and Real Estate, licensed REAA 2008.
Action Direct Physiotherapy told me they'd have me back on my feet in no time. Explain everything so I knew what was going on along the way. They're pretty hands-on. They call it manual therapy. So I says, I'll be back scoring goals for the soccer team in no time, eh? Yep, they reply. Good, because I don't score any now, being a goalie and all. They even laughed at my joke.
Action Direct Physiotherapy at actiondirect.co.nz.
Oh, mate, taking this view. Mate, look at this view.
Yeah, okay, we've still got 16 holes to play. Are you going to be like this all the way around the golf course?
I reckon I might be.
Howard Golf Course, a course with $1 million views. Full year membership just $995. Come have a round for just $25. And if you decide to join, they'll refund the round. Call 0800 Golf Game and ask about the payment plans. Around $20 a week. Howard Golf Course on the panoramic Music Point Peninsula, Bucklands Beach.
Mate, this view.
Mate, the price.
0800 Golf Game.
New Zealand's only 24/7 sports radio. Radio Sport. The Hyundai High Performance Hour. Proudly brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
Remember our website, it's hph.co.nz. You can link through to our Facebook page. We've got all the details, the links there for Archilles New Zealand. And you can find out some more about this team. We'll certainly keep you posted. Mike Lloyd with us in studio, going to his 5th New York Marathon. Thanks for coming in, mate. And I wish you all the best. And if you don't break that 4.5 hours, you are not invited back on the show. Is that along the lines of what you want, Peter?
That's getting close. We've measured him up for a body bag, so we're under control.
Good luck, mate. Good luck. Have a blast.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, eh?
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, good stuff. And Peter, for you and the work that you and your team, as you say, volunteers do, well done to you. And obviously it's a passion for you.
Yeah, and it's guys like Mike that keep us going, And if we let our guard down, he'll have us.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck, mate. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
We certainly will keep in touch with Neva, and we'll look to catch up with you guys when you get back and hear all the stories from the tour that you're not allowed to tell us, but it'll just be us.
We'll sneak them in.
Just be us.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Andrew.
Guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrew.
Archilles New Zealand. Check them out online. You can go there via our website or just go straight to archillesnewzealand.org. Wonderful organisation, doing great things, and they'll be off to the New York Marathon November the 3rd, so it's only a couple of weeks away. That's us for the Hyundai High Performance Hour for another week. After 10, we'll open the lines, take your calls on the sporting issues of the day. 0800 8255 77, our number. You can text 5009.